Well, can now talk to the Education Minister, Robert Halfon, who joins me now live. Robert Halfon, I don't know if you can hear me, but a very good morning to you if you can. I want to talk to you, first of all, about the teachers' strike, because teachers from the National Education Union are walking out again. This is their 8th strike this year. They say that the government's pay offer just isn't enough in a cost of living crisis. So are you going to reopen talks to try to resolve this?
Well, first of all, it's very sad that these strikes are taking place. It damages children's schooling. They've already suffered during COVID. We know that in previous strikes, over 90% of schools remained open. I thank all the teachers and support staff who are doing everything possible to keep looking after and teaching our children. Absolutely, there are always ongoing talks with the trade unions, and I know the Secretary of State and the Minister for Schools has met the unions on a number of occasions. We need to do everything we can to resolve this strike, but we have to be fair to teachers and fair to the taxpayer as well, because obviously we have a very difficult economic challenge with inflation, albeit going down slightly. And of course, we've got to spend many billions of pounds helping people with the cost of living and reducing their energy bills.
So you say talks have been ongoing. So when are the next talks with the Education Secretary?
I can't give you a date at this point, but there are absolutely been ongoing talks with the ministers and the unions, as I've described. Of course, we all want to resolve this strike. We're trying to work out a fair solution for teachers and support staff. It's worth noting that new teachers, we aim to ensure that their starting salary is £30,000. Last year, we offered just under 5% to experienced teachers. Many teachers get more because they have natural progression through the school system. But nevertheless, it is challenging. I understand that it's challenging. There are cost of living challenges for everyone, not to teach and support staff, but also many others. But we have to be fair to the taxpayer, keep inflation down, as well as be doing our best for our brilliant teachers and support staff.
Well, teachers say they could now launch the biggest strike in decades in the autumn with a united front by all 4 education unions. How concerned are you about that?
Well, it would be disastrous for our children. As I mentioned, during the lockdown and COVID, our schools were shut for most pupils. We know the damaging effects that has had. Every day a child is not in school, it means that the child's not learning, and we're damaging their educational life chances. So I would urge teaching support staff, whilst recognising the challenges they face, not to go on strike. And of course, the government will continue the ongoing talks that have happened over the past few weeks and months.
Will your department publish the recommendations of the independent pay review body on next year's pay rises, as the union, the NEU, is calling for?
Yes, that will be published in due course. I can't give you a date today, but of course these things are always published and everybody knows what the recommendations are.
And Rishi Sunak has indicated that he's prepared to overrule pay bodies. Will this pay body be overruled?
Well, let's find out what the pay review body says first. As I said, the message
The Education
from the
Department,
message,
that report?
the message from the government is we've got to be fair as possible, given the very difficult economic circumstances. Don't forget, we still have 2 trillion in debt, but partly caused because of the 400 billion spent on COVID. We've got the billions of pounds that are being spent on helping people with the cost of living and reducing energy bills. But we have to be as fair as possible for teachers and support staff. I completely get that, but we have to be fair to the taxpayer and make sure we bear down on inflation as well, because that's the biggest tax on the cost of living, and that would affect everyone, teachers and support staff included.
I ask about the pay review bodies because earlier in the year, when we heard about disputes, the government always said, let's wait and see what the pay review bodies say, and then we will abide by their recommendations. Has that changed now? Are the pay review bodies' recommendations now going to be overruled? Is that a possibility?
Well, you're asking what is impossible to say at this point in time. The pay review bodies will publish, the government will make its decision in due course with what I say, the principle of being as fair as possible to teaching and support staff, given the current circumstances, but also being fair to the taxpayer as well. And I think that's a reasonable position.
Want to ask you a little bit about artificial intelligence. You are the skills minister, and we've been covering artificial intelligence in the last couple of days, looking specifically at whether or not AI could do the job of a news organisation. What's your view as skills minister? Do you see AI as an opportunity or a threat to jobs?
Well, I think we're doing a lot of work on that. I think it will absolutely have some impact on jobs. But I remember going to a bank in the city where they said they had made their accountants redundant because of AI, but they were retraining them in cybersecurity. So I think there will be a lot of opportunities. We're doing huge amounts of work on skills. I'm in Exeter today to visit the brilliant FE college, Exeter College. We're just announcing today £100 million to be spent helping on T levels provide state-of-the-art facilities for students who are studying T levels, and that will include digital and cyber and all the media, all the things that will be relevant to AI in the future.
The Prime Minister, though, has acknowledged there are risks. He's highlighted aspects like deep fakes and child exploitation, for example. So what's being done about those risks?
Well, there's a lot of work going in the department. Baroness Barron, and a fellow minister, is in charge of artificial intelligence. It is going to be huge. Obviously, we've got ChatGPT, which is changing the nature of things quite considerably. It's not easy to give immediate answers, but there's a lot, as I say, a lot of work going on and speaking to experts, and then we'll be able to respond accordingly.
I just wondered if I could get your reaction as well to some breaking news this morning and the latest on the housing market. According to the Halifax House Price Index, the average UK house price fell in June. That's the third consecutive monthly fall. What do you make of that?
Well, we've got a very difficult economic situation. It's going to be tough for some people. It'll be better for those people who want to buy houses, of course, but it will be tough. But there's no denying that the economic situation is incredibly challenging. There's a cost of living challenge as well, and goes back to the original questions you asked me. That's why everything we need to do is get interest rates down to grow the economy, to reduce our debt, cut interest rates, because then we'll have the economy flourishing again. It's because of the difficult economic situation that these things are happening, as you've described.
And finally, I just quickly want to ask you a question related to Chris Pincher. It's been recommended that he be sanctioned, have a sanction of 8 weeks by the Standards Committee after the inquiry found him to have behaved inappropriately in a bar. He groped two men in a bar. The House of Commons has to vote on that sanction, and the people of his constituency in Tamworth will want to know when a prospective by-election might be. So how soon will that vote happen?
Well, this is a matter for the House of Commons. They will decide the vote, when the vote will be. So I can't give you an answer to that. I'm not in charge of the House of Commons and the way these things are worked out. But I'm guessing there will be a vote soon on it, and then MPs will make their decision.
But you can't be any more specific than that. When you say soon, in the next days, weeks, how soon do you think it might be?
I can only guess, because I'm not in charge of this. This is a House of Commons matter, and they decide when the vote will be. And so what I'm guessing it will be pretty soon. The reports just come out. When previous reports come out, they have votes fairly soon afterwards. Sometimes there is not a vote, and think that the reports are just agreed unanimously by the House of Commons. But I'm guessing it will be soon. But I'm sorry, I can't give you a date because I'm not in charge of the timetable.
OK, fair enough. Robert Halfon, we appreciate your time. Education Minister, thanks very much indeed for joining us this morning.
Thank you.